All right, let's go ahead and bring Carly Smith back in. And Carly, we want to talk about some of the things that are continuing to happen even now after this thing has made landfall.
Yeah, we are still seeing the winds really picking up, and they're more direct on our coastline now, and that's starting to increase that storm surge. So Lexus Green has been out at the Art Museum all morning long. Additionally, we have inside word that as of right now that there is no water making it inside. The Art Museum did prep with sandbags and so forth to prepare for this scenario, but remember that parking lot, the lower level parking lot that Lexus was standing on? It is now completely covered in water, and you cannot see that parking lot anymore. So that storm surge of 1 to 3 feet is now here. So we're seeing that inundation of up to 3 feet at this time. It is looking similar to what we have seen in the past, but essentially they are prepared with some sandbags and so forth at this time. 79 degrees right now. Can you believe that? So winds are out of the east-northeast at 32 miles per hour, but gusts are up to 62 miles per hour through Flower Bluff and Corpus Christi. So really strong gusts are in the area. As of right now, the National Weather Service is also working on drawing up a flash flood warning for Jim Wells and Duval County that will get you up to date with on the latest as well. But that peak storm surge, again, the forecast showed 1 to 3 feet. We're starting to see that really showing up now as our winds are continuing to be strong in the area. I know meteorologist Kristen Walla had some stuff that she was going to talk about. She's got more on winds and what we can continue to expect along our coast, but also inland as a storm continues to move to the west. Kristen.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a look at those wind speeds right now. Like you were talking about, they send a lot of water up onto the coastline. That's why we've got the coastal flood advisories in effect for the beach. And it also contributes to those higher waves and the longer wave periods. So there's the high rip current risk, but hopefully y'all are all tucked away at home, nice and safe and sound and dry, and not out at the beach trying to surf. Those winds getting up to 32 miles per hour now right here in Corpus Christi. We do have some tropical storm force winds now right there in that pocket. You can see the blue colors. However, here's a look at those wind gusts, like Carly said, up to 62 miles per hour. So very strong wind gusts on top of the already pretty breezy winds. So that is going to continue again to come across the coastal bend heading into the rest of this afternoon with that storm. The higher wind speeds follow that tropical storm across the state of Texas. So it's going to be very gusty here today, even into this evening. We're going to continue to see the rain chance in this evening. We do also have a new tornado warning that I'm seeing that I will try to pull up here real quickly. That was for, I'm trying to pull it up here.
We can shift.
If we could pull Carly's mic up.
Too, while Kristen's working on that. Yeah. Several tornado warnings actually have now been issued. Benavides is under a tornado warning till 11:45. We kind of mentioned some of these possible spin-ups less than 10-15 minutes ago. So we've got a tornado warning now at 11:40 till 11:45 a.m. also south of George West. So this is going to be where we're seeing this heavy rainfall. This is an area where we're getting an increase in wind. That shear is being created and a spin-up tornado is likely. So that's going to be 11:45. We're seeing this tornado warning that's in southern Live Oak County, just south of George West. And then we have another tornado warning that is going to be south of San Diego as it is approaching Benavides. That rotation would be near where we're seeing the red. We'll take a look at velocity here in just a second. And Kristen, if you see anything you want to talk about, feel free to chime in whenever you want as well, and we can just switch back and forth. But we are seeing right here is where I would see this tornado. It would be moving toward Benavides as well. So additionally, there is a new flash flood warning as well that does include all areas inland for Nueces County, Claiborne County, Jim Wells County, as well as into Duval County, and that's going to be until 2:15. But we'll take a look now at the velocity of these areas just south of George West. That's the strongest area of rotation rotation that I've seen all morning as we're tracking these storms. That's going to be right there about to cross 281. So that rotation would be right here, and that's warning is until 11:45. So this warning is going to be for southwestern Live Oak County. We've got another one popping up. So yeah, 10 minutes ago we were saying we could see some tornado warnings here. This one near Beeville included in a tornado warning till 11:45. That looks like some broad rotation, I would say, on the south and eastern side of Beeville, right along 181 as well. This is going to be south of Beeville where that tornado would be, right between 202 and 181. So that would be right here is where we would see that rotation, and that is going to be moving toward the west as well. So this is a tornado warning again for east central Live Oak County and into central B County. More right now, the rotation is in B County, and there is that tornado, that area of rotation where we're seeing the green and the red. So essentially what that means is green is going to be showing winds going toward the radar. So this is north of our radar, so the winds would be going kind of more this way, and then the reds are going this way, but that's where we are seeing rotation, and that's this storm is closest to Beeville right now, this storm, but it is on the south side of town, again, between 202 and 181, right before where they meet, heading into Beeville. This storm is moving west at 45 miles per hour, so as we zoom out, we can kind of track where that possible rotation would be going with our storm track. And so I gotta adjust a couple of things and then we'll get that track going. And so that would take it away from Beeville toward Beeville's airport around 11:22, and then I'm not sure if I'm gonna say this city right, but Cadiz at 11:34. And then that's not the only tornado warning we've got. So now we're at the one south of George West. George West, you are not in the tornado warning, but this is about to cross 281. So anyone with property, ranch land, or so forth down there between Mount Lucas and Clegg is where we're going to see this go. And then it's going to cross 59 if it stays formed. And we'll check out the information on this tornado now, and it is moving southwest at 40 miles per hour. Again, these are not confirmed tornadoes, they're all radar indicated, and that's because we are seeing green, which indicates rotation going toward the radar, but also a little bit of speed shear. Now with the latest update, we lost that rotation couplet of the green and the red, but when you see the brighter red on top and the grays, essentially, that's really weak winds on the bottom. That's still that speed shear, which is how these tropical storm or tropical based tornadoes really start to form, is from speed shear. So this one, I believe I said, is moving west at 40 miles per hour. So we could put a storm track on this one and show any areas that would potentially be impacted by this tornado or this radar indicated tornado. It's a messy couplet, but it is still there. And so that would have it moving toward Clegg and then Seven Sisters by 11:58. Looks like we still have this one. We're now approaching Benavides, right over Benavides, tornado warning for Benavides until 11:45. These typically have fairly light winds in relative speaking to tornadoes, but they're still strong winds. So I don't want to confuse you by saying that, but typically they're about 65 to around 100 mile per hour winds within these storms. There's another cell. We've got a lot of tornado warnings coming out. There's another cell now near Sinton that there it is. There's where that rotation is looking like it's going to be. You see the bright green and the gray. That's going to track straight towards Sinton as well. Not sure how fast this one is moving, so we'll put a storm track real quickly on this one that is going through Benavides. But if you do live in Benavides, it's best to take shelter. If there is a tornado or if there's about to be a tornado, it would be right over you. So stay inside if you're watching this. Don't go outside and try to look for the tornado. That is not safe to do. But we can check out how fast this tornado is going. This one going 35 miles per hour to the west. And so we'll put our storm track on that. Again, Sinton about to have a tornado warning issued for you as well. So if you're living in Sinton, go ahead and make sure you're inside. So Benavides, this is right at you. The high school, it'll be there a minute later, and then it will track away from Benavides, likely north of Rialto's, but that is where this is going to go. Track along 359 and then continue away from 359 toward Highway 16 there into the west. So I'm not sure if the one for Sinton has been issued. Oh, okay, so we've got all the current issued tornado warnings. The one south of Beeville, looking fairly broad, but there may be kind of a secondary couplet trying to form on the backside of that one. There also looks like south of Goliad we could have one, but Sinton is one that the Weather Service is working on putting out a warning. Has not been put out yet, but you can see where that rotation would be is going to be, let's use this arrow with the arrowhead. So we have the really strong winds going this way and then some weaker winds kind of creating shear this way. And that's going to create that rotation that is tracking right toward the city of Sinton. When we are looking at some of the radar estimated wind speeds, now these are not going to be exact because they're not all at the surface level, but what we're going to see right here is our winds. So we'll see 39 estimated winds. Gate-to-gate shear, not overly impressive, but still, that's stronger shear likely, and then just some strong speed shear. So that shear that it's really checking out is going to be your rotational shear, and the speed shear is how these storms get started. And there we have it. This tornado warning now issued till noon for Sinton. Sinton is under a tornado warning again until noon. If you're just joining us, I'm meteorologist Carly Smith, and we have a tornado warning until noon for San Patricio County. It's going to include Sinton, Odom, West Sinton, San Patricio, Mathis, Sandia, all of these areas. Interstate 37 under this tornado warning. Mathis under this tornado warning. Again, these typically happen quickly. They're very fast. They're relatively weak when it comes to a tornado, but that will still be stronger wind speeds than we've seen all day if a tornado does develop. These are radar indicated tornadoes, so we're seeing rotation on radar. That does not confirm that there definitely is a tornado, but when we see a rotation, then we have an idea that a tornado could either form quickly or it has already formed. And it's really difficult to verify these tropical storm tornadoes because there's not going to be large debris being lofted up high into the atmosphere and so forth. Let me see how fast this one is moving so I could put a storm track on that. This one will be going west at 55 miles per hour. And so when we put the storm track on that one, we get it to 55. And then I'm going to zoom out so we can track it toward those other cities. This is a tornado warning that's really going to impact several cities potentially in the region. So that has it at Sinton at 1127, Mathis 1148, Edroy 1139, and Lake City at 1152, based on the radar estimated speed of movement of this tornado, and additionally the storm, the way that this is moving around the center of that tropical storm that we are dealing with. So we're going to zoom out. I'm going to go back to reflectivity as we kind of look at all of these and get an idea of all the tornado warnings that we are really covering right now. So I've got a tornado warning again that includes Sinton, Mathis, San Patricio, Odom, Sandia. Likely this will track from Sinton somewhere between Sandia and San Patricio. That is going to be until noon. The other warning is going to be just south of George West. Looks like it's crossing near Highway 59 right now. That will continue to track toward 16 and potentially toward Freer, but I think it would move north of Freer. Finally, or we have two more, I think. This one, Benavides, it would be now southwest of Benavides where the tornado would be. That's going to, this warning is until 11:45. It will likely track north of Rialitos, but likely going to stay north even though you are in the tornado warning there. And so I think that's now all 4 of our tornado warnings. But these tropical storms, the outer bands, notorious for causing spin-up tornadoes, again, it is worth staying inside, which we should be anyway with these high winds and heavy rainfall that we have been seeing. These tornadoes tend to be fairly brief and relatively weak, but you might not say that if it hits your house and causes some damage to a shed or does end up breaking a window or so forth. So that is still a possibility with 65 to likely 110 mile per hour winds there within these tornadoes. And again, all of them, I believe, are radar estimated at this time. Still getting some warnings. One's for Goliad County now, which is outside of the coastal bend. But this is the point of the day we're at. We've got some daytime heating that's added to the fuel for the tornado potential. Severe weather loves heat, and we've got that going on. It loves moisture. We've got that going on. And it loves wind shear as well. So is there anything else, Kristen, that you want to add with these tornadoes? I do want to emphasize Sinton should be taking shelter. It is starting to move, it looks like now on the western side of town, but Sinton should be taking shelter. Benavides, I believe it's starting to pass to your south, but should be in shelter as well. Areas along 59, it looks like. George West, you're in the clear from a tornado at this time. Beeville, let me look at reflectivity one more time for the Beeville area. It looks west of Beeville, but I would say there is a little area to the northeast of Beeville that I would be slightly concerned with some rotation popping up there as well. So Beeville, I would stay inside right now as well, just to be on the safe side. Sinton moving through town right now as we speak. Latest radar scan now has it on the west side of Sinton. So we'll come back and check out all of these tornado warnings and see where that potential rotation is in just a second.